Welcome to another edition of the Rich Varney Show podcast. In this week's show, guys, we're going to be chatting with Darren OConnor, a real estate agent working for Windermere, Los Cabos. Darren's going to be sharing with us his insights into the real estate market. He's going to be letting us know how the real estate market is reacting during COVID and what a few things that you need to know as a buyer if you're looking to get into the market in Los Cabos. So stay tuned, guys. The podcast is on its way. What's up, you guys, and welcome back to another podcast. Yeah, it's the Rich Varney Show, and today I've got a friend in the business, in the real estate business in Los Cabos. It's a really fascinating market because you're so close to the US. So I want to welcome to the show. Welcome, Darren OConnor.
Thank you so much, Rich. Pleasure to be here. Great to reconnect with you, my friend. Got a lot of exciting things to talk about. Real estate in Mexico is so dynamic right now. No matter what part of Mexico you're located in, not only for investors, but also for other agents that may be listening to this podcast today. So super excited to dive down and tell you everything you want to know about Los Cabos. It's an exciting market.
Is it fair to say that Los Cabos is probably one of the number one locations where Americans go on holiday in Mexico?
Correct. Yeah. We're known as the Malibu of Mexico, Rich.
The Malibu of Mexico, baby. You heard it here.
I say that just because the real estate values, price per square foot, are the highest anywhere in Mexico, for the most part. But also, what's unique about the destination from a tourism perspective is that unlike Puerto Vallarta and Cancun, which are also in the top three from a U.S. travel perspective, is that building regulations here don't allow you to go any more than 6 stories high. So you're never going to see those huge skyscrapers. And they also limit the amount of all-inclusives that are allowed in the destination. So a lot of the resorts here are high-end luxury resorts and are also boutique resorts. So we do have a handful of all-inclusive resorts that are available, but the average price point is about $285 per night per room. So that's what makes it a little bit more higher end compared to other destinations such as Cancun, just because they limit the amount of rooms that are available here, and they limit they sustain the pricing.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
I mean, and your clientele, by the sounds of it, the people that go down there and have holidays and stuff, and then buy real estate, you're probably looking at the higher tier of the market. In general, I would imagine. We'll delve into this because I'm curious. Can you pick up houses for 400,000, 300,000? Is that even a possibility down there? And I think that's a good place to start. To kind of say to people, you may be thinking about Los Cabos and you go, yeah, but Los Cabos is really expensive. Well, what is the market like? Can you give us like an overview of the market of where you can start and where does it go up to? Would that be okay, Darren? Just so my viewers can kind of get a bit of an idea of if they've never really heard of the area. Yeah. What is the price point you can begin in Los Cabos? Of course, you've got different areas, but just giving us a general idea, that would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. So Los Cabos has had probably, 15 or 20 different features on House Hunters International and a lot of these international real estate shows that are real popular on TV. Right now, you can, buy a 2-bedroom condo, depending upon the location, starting at around $150,000. And then that goes all the way up into listings that are listed at over $30 million for single family homes in these luxury enclaves and private communities. So there really is something for everybody here in Los Cabos. It's really just about finding what makes sense for you, what community has the amenities that are important to you and your family, and also the location. As I mentioned, there's a big difference between the vibe and the energy in Cabo San Lucas, which was known for timeshare originally and deep sea fishing, versus San Jose del Cabo, which tends to be a little bit more tranquil, laid back, has more of an emphasis on arts and culture, and there's more private communities in that area of Los Cabos. So it really does run the gamut, Rich. I think there's something here for everybody. It just depends upon what the individual buyer that's listening to this podcast is looking for. Are they looking for a single family home, or are they looking for a lock and leave turnkey condo kind of thing? Right now, what's really popular with the surge of Airbnb over the last 5 to 7 years is that most clients that are using this as a vacation property are looking for a lock and leave property where they can rent it when they're not here, or just simply lock up, leave, and come back. So
yeah,
I hope that
that
helps.
here too.
Correct. Yeah. So there's a couple of developers right now that are doing new modern and contemporary finished projects. Some of them do have ocean views, but yeah, they start at about $150,000 and go up from there. So, and keep in mind, Rich, this is a cash market. So, after the crash of 07, 08, there used to be U.S. banks that would lend to foreigners or Americans and Canadians to purchase a secondary property in Mexico. But since then, since the banks changed their lending standards, there's really not a lot of financing. There is one company, Global Mortgage, that's offering financing options. Yeah, so Global does offer some solutions, but the interest rates there aren't on par with what a lot of our clients in the U.S. Are thinking about when they're looking at purchasing a property. So it's a cash market, which makes it challenging and dynamic just because the financing lane isn't there. But I've seen condos, Rich, honestly, go for a couple $100,000, maybe a 1-bedroom. Even on the beach, $250,000. I saw a 1-bedroom go for recently. A little bit older of a condominium, needs a little TLC, but those deals are there. So it's just about being patient, working with the right representative, and buying smart. As you know, in this business, you make money buying real estate at the time you buy versus selling, right? So I'm extremely bullish on this destination. In the 7 years I've been here, I've seen it explode. There's so much commercial development that's happening right now. So many more resorts are entering into this market. And I'm really, really optimistic about the future of long-term appreciations, and I've seen it. What makes this destination so attractive, I think, is obviously the cost of living, depending upon your lifestyle, is about a third of what it is in the U.S. But more importantly, it's the consistency in climate. I mean, so for 9 months out of the year, really starting in end of October, all the way through arguably July, but most certainly June, we just have over 360 days of sunshine here in Los Cabos, some of the world's best beaches, swimmable beaches, snorkeling, 13 professional golf courses, a huge selection of restaurants to choose from. So, it really is attractive to a lot of people that are looking to retire. Not everybody wants to move to Florida anymore, Rich. So people are getting creative. And more importantly, it's the energy of the people. I think once you visit Mexico or you visit the destination, the hearts of the people is what makes this place special. They're really warm, welcoming. And the reason why I love living in Los Cabos is because generally when you meet people, they're on vacation, and vacation may be that best week or two of their year, right? And so they're everybody tends to be really, really happy and excited to be here. Of course, the fresh food and produce and fish that the destination offers is just amazing. So those are just a few of the reasons.
Yeah. I think you're so right. People nowadays, they may not be going to Texas. They may not be going to Florida. And if they feel okay with coming to Mexico, they go, oh my God, we can have better weather in Mexico and still live cheaper. I mean, even saying that, I mean, you do have some very, very expensive restaurants and, places to go out in Los Cabos. I mean, if you have houses at $30 million, you must have service that comes up to that kind of standard of $30 million service, right?
Without question. I mean, Los Cabos has been known because of our close proximity to LA. It's been a hotbed for many years for a lot of celebrities, professional athletes, affluent CEOs. So we certainly cater to that demographic. We see an expansion of the infrastructure and a lot more private planes that are landing here. I specialize in the luxury sector of the market, so I'm intimately familiar with a lot of those amenities and services that are requested. But I don't want people that are listening to your podcast today, Rich, to think that I have to be a millionaire if I want to move to Los Cabos, because that quite simply isn't the truth. Once again, there are options at all different price points in this market. And it's really about finding the right product for the potential buyer in this market. And there's a lot to choose from. It's certainly a buyer's market. I want to reiterate that. I mean, right now there's over 1,700 listings on the MLS right now. Last year we did about 350 million in volume. So it's a vibrant, churning market. This year, we're already just looking in Los Cabos at about 107 million sold so far, and that was through August. So just to put that in perspective,
that's just August.
That's just in condos, pardon me. Yeah. So that's just in condos. So condos were at 107 million. Last year, we ended at just under 154 million. So we're on pace to match or exceed that. And then when we're talking single family homes, year to date, we're already well over, let me just find well over 229 million in closed sales for single homes in this market. And that exceeds what we saw last year. So I'm, just to shoot from the hip, talking to my clients, COVID has kind of changed the game. It's changed the perspective of a lot of potential buyers that may have been looking to invest in Mexico for a couple of years. I think a lot of people are ready to get busy living, ready to, they've seen their own mortality. They've seen the world change quite a bit in the last few years. And they're saying, hey, this is the time. What's the point of putting off our dreams and purchasing the property in the destination we want to live in? Let's act now. So it's been an exciting time and a great year for all of us.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I agree 100%. So much of what you're saying is I'm feeling that's what's happening here too in Ajijic, where people are like, they've with the COVID, they were taking the back seat for like 3, 4, 5 months, and now they're kind of going, hey, well, we could even work from Mexico, probably doing what we're doing in the US because so many more people are working from home. I mean, it really kind of creates this whole opportunity to go, well, we can still work, but we can work from Mexico, maybe,
Without question. So many of the different industries have changed right now to, web calls like we're on right now, doing business virtually. And that opens up the door for alternative living lifestyles. I mean, I'm in the process of selling a property right now to a stock trader who is now able to work 100% remotely. And then the other client I'm working with are educators. So they're educating online right now and no longer have to be tied down to a zip code in the US. And so now they're looking outside of the box to purchase. I did want to just lead off or address a question that's very common, which are the safety standards. I'm sure you get it all the time, the question, but a lot of times people ask me, hey, Darren, how safe is Los Cabos from an overall living perspective? And I will say that in the 7 years I've lived here, I actually feel safer than living in the U.S. for a few different reasons. But one of which is that it's been a healthy environment as far as employment is concerned. So on average, for every one of the big luxury resorts we have, there's a 4-to-1 staff to ratio. So there's plenty of employment. So we don't see the petty crime that happens in other parts of the world. There's no perfect place to live, Rich. Let's be honest with ourselves. No matter where you're at in the world, there are some level of danger. But generally speaking, Los Cabos is a very safe destination. And a lot of I would say about 85% of the communities and homes that are here have 24-hour security. And so even after COVID, the safety standards have been raised for the destination. So everywhere you go, they are checking your temperature. You are required to use hand sanitizer and wear a mask to go into any public place. So I just wanted to address those topics right off the top, because I'm sure your listeners, Rich, are asking, what's it like on the ground right now in Los Cabos?
Yeah, pretty much the same here. I mean, nothing, yeah, pretty much the same. I mean, like I can agree, like going to a restaurant, going to a mall. I went to a mall for the first day a couple of weeks ago, and that was amazing. I was like, wow, man, I'm actually in a mall. and everyone's wearing masks, and it kind of feels a bit weird. People are getting on and living their lives, and that's what you have to do, And I have to say, Darren, talking about the real estate market, I haven't felt like it's slowed down. For me personally, I can't talk for everyone, but for me personally, it hasn't slowed down. I'm still getting the same amount of requests. I'm still working with pretty much the same amount of clients, servicing them and answering emails and showing houses. So how's that been for you? Did you get a slowdown this year? Apart from that kind of period of, that kind of, like, I would say the black period of what was it? March to about June. That was a bit of a black period, but a grey period. But then after that, things quickly got back to somewhat normality.
Yeah, for me, Rich, honestly, it was the best quarter that I ever had. The second quarter of 2019. Like I said, I sold 2 homes sight unseen, just with virtual tours. I had one gentleman actually put in an offer. He took the Matterport. We use virtual tours in Matterport for most all of our properties, especially in the luxury. And this was a luxury property. And so, he jumped on it. He was on a private plane. 48 hours later, did a walkthrough, did a home inspection, put down the earnest deposit, and we just closed on that property at the end of August. So I've had 4 closings during that time period, and another 2 more transactions that are pending. So for me personally, it's been a great year. And then talking to other high producing brokers in the area, and real estate advisors and agents, the trend is up. A lot of people are still looking, like I said, they're kind of moving off the schneid, so to speak, and moving into action. And historically, August and September and the first part of October are slower months anyways, just because it's warmer in other parts of the world. Obviously, COVID has kind of changed how much people want to travel, but a lot of people are looking more online, Rich. So that's why I love what you're doing, providing the world with positive information, great information, specific information about Mexico, because people are using that to act upon. And so, like I said, I'm very excited about what this year is going to bring. I think our busy season really kicks off at the end of October, and I have quite a few clients that are planning to return to the destination. So overall, I've been extremely blessed during COVID and staying really busy.
Yeah, that's great, mate. That's great. And you don't focus a lot of your advertising is, well, your the way you lead generate as such. That's more for referrals, right? Because you've been working in the industry for some time now. Does it come through referrals? Is that how you connect with your clients, or?
Yeah, at Windermere, Los Cabos, we have a fantastic website, and that does bring in leads, but about 85% of my business is generated through referrals. So I've been fortunate enough to get great testimonials. Clients that work with me decide to work with me again in the future and refer other clients to me. So that's primarily how I'm generating leads at this point in time. But I think, for other agents that may be listening, if you get good listings, you service your clients well, there's a story to tell. And no matter what it is, when somebody has a positive experience, they always want to tell somebody about it. And so that's been a great blessing for me working in the industry. It's been over 4 years now. One of the things that I love about Los Cabos is that all the beaches are open to the public. So unlike Europe, where you have your privatized beach and you have to pay for your chair when you go over there, here, it's a requirement to make all the beautiful beaches, and they call them blue flag beaches, available to the public with parking and access. And so you're right, you do not have to live on that same beach. You can live close to that same beach and still go there and have a great experience. I was just out deep sea fishing on Saturday, caught a 45-pound wahoo, and I'll send you a picture after we're done here of this amazing fish. And delicious fish, I might add. But those are the type of experiences. I'm an avid golfer. I love to surf and I love to fish. So all those things are phenomenal about this destination. You don't have to be a multimillionaire to enjoy them. The destination really does have something to offer anybody. and everybody, I mean, for that matter.
Yeah. I haven't been yet, but I mean, like I was saying to Darren before we just before we went on the podcast, I'm coming. Yeah, and we're gonna go and do some recordings of houses. We're gonna probably record maybe 5 or 10 different properties, all different ranges, so you can kind of all get a bit of an idea of what's available. And I'll put that on my YouTube. So that's all to come, guys. So watch out for them videos all about Los Cabos because it's coming. Where are most of your clients coming from? Do you get Europeans that come over from Europe to Los Cabos, or is the market mainly, California based, or is it mainly kind of like coming from, New York State and, the wealthier states in the US or Canada? Where are your clients coming from, mate, if you mind me asking?
No, great question. Most of our clients come from, you're coming through clear. There was a little bit of a breakup, but I'm back on track. Most of our clients, Rich, come from locations in the U.S. that fly direct. Okay, so that's, San Diego, L.A., Denver, Colorado, Seattle, Washington, Austin, Texas, Atlanta, Georgia. So mostly mid to western U.S. states, but a lot of Canadians come down as well from Calgary, Edmonton, and even Toronto. So, it used to be that a lot of clients or Americans on the East Coast of the U.S. flew directly down to Cancun because that was a little closer for them. Okay, but right now it's only a 4-hour flight, 4.5-hour flight from New York to get to us. But for most of the Western states, you can be here in 2 to 2.5 hours. I mean, it's only 3 hours direct from Denver. So I deal with a lot of clients from California, Colorado, Washington, and even Canada. Those are where predominant majority of our clients come from, but we still have a lot of Mexican clients as well. From Mexico City, we're seeing more and more clients decide to purchase from other areas, Guadalajara, Monterrey, and Mexico City. Do not want to forget about the locals as well, as they represent a majority of the purchasing power in this market as well. You got to remember, this destination has grown tremendously, especially over the 15 to 20 year period, the last 15 to 20 years. And the Mexican government has invested heavily in the infrastructure. For example, they improved the toll road leaving the airport. So you fly into San Jose del Cabo Airport, okay? And that's located about 25 minutes from Cabo San Lucas and about 15 minutes away from San Jose del Cabo. Now you have a toll road that will connect you directly to the Pacific side. So that's feeding private communities such as Rancho San Lucas, Diamante, where Tiger Woods designed and launched his own golf course there, and Todos Santos, which is along the Pacific side and quickly becoming an up-and-coming destination to the area. So the infrastructure has been improved. A lot of jobs have been created in order to grow the infrastructure and, of course, support the tourism, which is the busiest and biggest sector in the market. One other important point that I wanted to make, Rich, about foreigners that are considering purchasing property in Los Cabos and what's a little bit different than mainland Mexico. Okay, so here in Los Cabos, because of the Mexican Constitution, they prohibited foreigners from owning property 60 miles from the border or 30 miles from the ocean. So in order to circumvent that, what has been done is created is a Mexican property trust called a fideicomiso. So that's where foreigners will hold title under a trust. So you pick a credible Mexican financial institution and you work with a notary and a real estate attorney, which our company helps you through that process A to Z. Okay. And then that trust is not an asset of that bank, but merely they are the fiduciary of your trust. So that allows you a 50-year renewable term to hold property, have all the rights of ownership. So if you're listening to this as a foreigner, I don't want you to be scared by that big word. What did Darren say, fideicomiso? However, literally about $3 billion of real estate has been bought and sold using a fideicomiso trust. So it is a credible process. We walk you through it from A to Z. If you have other questions, please reach out to me. I'm happy to provide. But I just wanted to point out that distinction for your podcast today.
Okay, no, that's great. I mean, because we don't have to deal with that, because here if you buy here in Mexico, where we are located in Najijic, we're not, near the coast, and we're not near the border, so you get direct deeds, you get a direct escritor in your name. The difference is what Darren is saying is that because you're buying near, I mean, on the beach, or you're buying near to the borderline, there are these regulations in place that will you'll have to buy through a trust, and them trusts are created by the banks to secure your investment. But you are the owner of the property. It's just that is actually, that property is being held within a trust within the bank that you have to pay every 50 years. You have to, I think, every year you have to pay a certain amount as an administration fee, right? Every year you have to pay a certain amount.
Correct. And that's really a nominal fee. On average, it's $100,000, depending on the price of the property that you hold. But yeah, you do pay a small amount as an administration fee. But the key thing to remember here, Rich, is that it's not an asset of the bank. The bank simply is the administrator and acts as a trustee for it. So the asset is always protected. You do have ownership rights to the property. And then the other thing that we do that's really helped give investors peace of mind in this market is we use U.S. escrow practices. So when I sell a property here in Los Cabos, we establish a U.S. escrow using Armor Secure or a multitude of different U.S. companies. And then all the money is deposited in the U.S. to the escrow until all the terms of the contract are fulfilled. And then at closing, after the title has been sold, signed over, that's when assets are dispersed. So that gives people a tremendous amount of peace of mind, knowing that the process that they're going through is secure, it's safe, and it's very similar to what they may have done when purchasing property in the U.S. or Canada. And I can't speak for every brokerage here. I just know that that's what we use here at Windermere, Los Cabos, and a few of the other high-producing brokerages also use that. But yeah, once again, it's the most transparent and safe way to purchase real estate in Mexico. There's actually 22 steps to the closing process here in Los Cabos, all of which require a stamp. So we have an in-house real estate advisor who's been doing closings for 25 years. Now, she's an attorney. She's also a closing coordinator. So we work heavily with her in order to make sure that the property title is transferred legally, quickly, and efficiently. So I just wanted to circle back to you were asking where a majority of the buyers come from in this market. And I'll share with you a couple resources. One of them is visit loscabos.travel. But I failed to mention earlier, there are 550 weekly flights coming in here from about 40 different destinations when Los Cabos is up and functioning. But I failed to mention Salt Lake City, which is a big market for us. And we also have flights from Vegas as well. So Vegas, Phoenix is another one, Arizona. So Dallas, Houston, all flights direct. And then Orange County, San Jose, Tijuana. But we also have Minneapolis. So it gets cold in Minneapolis, Rich, during the wintertime. So we have a lot of snowbirds that are flying south and running away from cold weather in Chicago, Detroit, Montreal, New York, and Baltimore was the other destination. So we do cast a really wide net, but there's a large part of the U.S. that you can fly to from here in less than 4 hours. And then looking to mainland, we have, of course, Puerto Vallarta, Guadalajara, Monterrey, Culiacan, and Mexico City that provides a lot of local demographic to Los Cabos as well. So just wanted to point that out.
I mean, it sounds like you get a lot of traffic, mate, and now things are picking back up with, coming to the end of the year, I guess, or the run up to Thanksgiving in the US. Things will just be picking up, and then I think what we'll see is, I think down here particularly as well, and your place in Los Cabos, I think we'll see like a boom over the Christmas period, I think it's an exciting. I'm really excited about the future, man. I mean, even with this COVID thing, staying safe, staying sound, and staying strong, and then but there's so much to look forward to in the real estate business here in Mexico. Let me ask Darren. So if I'm saying an investor, I'm an investor, and I contact you and I say, hey Darren, I've got like, I don't know, $500,000, but I want to buy a couple of units. I want to buy a couple of units and I want to rent them out Airbnb. So I want to say buy units. Maybe if I've got $500,000, maybe buying around like 150,000 around that mark, and I want to get that magic 1%. Is that possible down there where you can get a return on investment when you're renting out? I mean, say if I bought an apartment for 150, and could I make $1,500 in rent in my pocket every month from that apartment?
Yeah, it really depends on the property, the location, the amenities. But yes, there are great returns in this market for investors. I think one thing to factor in is that, you do have to pay taxes now. There have been some changes there. In fact, Airbnb and other platforms are now required to withhold taxes. That was a big change that happened this year from years past, where they're actually required to withhold the 16% EBIT tax. But yes, I've had clients that have purchased condos, done extremely well with rental income, especially if you're in a close proximity to the beach or a good location to San Jose del Cabo or Cabo San Lucas. So there are opportunities in the rental income. And I specialize in helping investors find that. So I have a lot of experience with working with not only developers that are purchasing land, deciding to build and then rent, but also the everyday investor. One of the things that I always like to do when we're going through the due diligence of process, once I get a criteria from a client, is really look for properties that have a strong rental income history. So that way you can see, hey, these are the numbers over the last 2 or 3 years. This is what this property has been bringing in. These are the operating expenses. This is what it costs for property management, utilities, pool maintenance, landscaping, all those things, water, and then this is what our net would be. So I don't want to say on 150,000 you're going to net 10% ROI, but there are opportunities for good income, especially if you buy right in the right community. And that's the other thing that I wanted to mention is that as far as regulations is that, and the other thing that gives you peace of mind is we belong to the MLS down here in Los Cabos as well, and there's a lot of requirements. The KYC, as we call it, or know your client, has to be submitted now for purchases and for sellers. So you have to state their background in advance. And then the other thing is that the property title, working with us in the due diligence, we'll go ahead and do a property title search on any property that an investor or an individual may be interested in looking at, just to make sure that the chain of ownership was done correctly and that the property title is clean and available to be transferred. That's just another assurance to give clients peace of mind. I work with several different architects and builders. So I've helped individuals purchase property and build. There's a lot of land here, Rich. So some individuals will choose, this is a community that I want to be in, but they don't have the right house for me. I want to take on the project, and I have 12 to 16 months to invest and build out. It does require a lot of energy. I'll say that up front. It's always good to preface that it does require a little bit more energy and time when you're looking to build in Mexico. But if you have the resources, it can certainly be accomplished. And I do work with both investors and individuals as well. So if there's somebody listening to your podcast that's interested in learning more, I'd be happy to share any contacts in that capacity.
I'm sure we could have covered a lot more in this podcast, and we can talk because we haven't spoke for a long time. So it's just good to see you, my friend. And I'm so happy that things are going well for you in Los Cabos, and keep up the good work, man. Guys, by the way, I will leave Darren's information down below, and feel free to contact him in his email down below, or give him a call if you have any questions about buying real estate in Los Cabos, or you just have any questions about Los Cabos. I'm sure he'll be happy to help you. Darren, thank you so much, mate. It's going to be fun. I mean, I can't wait to come up and see.
Thank you so much, Rich, for having me. Can't wait to host you. give my best to everybody in Heat, and I'm here to help. If there's any questions that come up in the future, just let me know, my friend. Keep crushing it. I'm so proud of you, man. Keep running full steam. I love to watch your shows. I love what you're doing there. You inspire me. You're setting the bar really high, and it's been fun to watch you grow.
There we have it, guys. If you're new to the podcast, please remember to subscribe, hit that notification button, and give me a thumbs up. Thank you again, guys, and I will see you in the next podcast.